Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, BC Akpaida, 4:30 p.m. every Wednesday on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it. All right, thank you so much for staying tuned on African Independent Television, AIT, and you're welcome back to Issues and Tissues. I have with me in the studio this evening OSEMWIGIE Timothy. He is the publicity. Is the publicity chairman, lobby and advocacy, Edo Disability Speedy Passage Bill, and also a member of the Association of Persons with Disability, Edo State Chapter. Timothy, you're welcome on the program.
Oh, very beautiful evening to you, BC Akpaida, and our esteemed listeners and viewers out there. Good evening.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
I want to ask first, how did you navigate your way through to the station?
Well, navigating my way to the stations, it has to do with having to have, said to myself, look, I'm not going to allow any form of ambitions, obstacles, conditions, or situations to holding me down. If I have allowed that, this evening, I tell you, I won't have been able to find my way here.
So it tells you that, it's a lot of challenges, finding your way around town. And now, I know that you actually chairing a committee that has to do with a bill promoting disability law in Edo State. What is that bill all about?
Yes, like you did mention on the show, Edo Disability Rights Law or Rights Law Bill, as the case may be. It's just a document that would, if passed into law, certainly will guarantee the rights and privileges of persons who are living with one form of disability or the other. And you understand that our people say, well, there is no law. The people who want to definitely take to all manner of disposition of sorts. And so we are clamoring for a law to be passed in the honor of persons with disability or persons with... Don't forget that over 500 or more persons in here and those states, we are living one form of challenges or the other. So this document will definitely prohibit stigmatization for against these persons. This document will prevent these persons against all harmful practices. This law, as it may be described, we certainly protect the rights and privileges of persons living with disability. It will also guarantee their entire well-being, of course, their human dignity of rights.
Okay, we've had in recent times a clamor around the issue of rape, and how has this affected persons with disability in Edo State?
Yes, of course. When you talk about rape, another human treatment that's often meted at persons who, not just persons with disability, with the so-called able persons, let alone with persons with disability. I think persons with disability have indeed suffered greatly in this direction, because they do not have a law protecting them. If you were very, come out with the news just about 3 days ago, one old man raping, you know, someone who's challenged is in a Ekiti state or so. So, you know, and the man, you could hear the man saying, "Oh, that my girlfriend in be." But if a law like this is in place, I'm sure that individual would have been tried and probably be penalized, just as the law must have prescribed. So, not until this law is in place, just as we have it in other some other states like Lagos, Ondo State, even Kogi State, who happens to be a boundary between those states and that of the national center, Abuja, has it in the place. So when we have this law in place, I'm sure the rights and privileges, even Timothy and other persons who happens to be watching or listening to us now, will be indeed guaranteed.
All right. Let me ask you now. This particular law or bill you're trying to push in place, how far have you gone with it? And can you give us specifics of what you're asking for in this particular bill?
Well, since 2013, a bill was, drafted and onward transmitted to Edo State Sixth Assembly, and we thereafter we were told that it came in through the back door. But that's a big question that see in the minds of so many Edo people. That how would you say? I've said that an executive bill will come in through the back door into the state House of Assembly, because reason be that we've had cases where executive bill will within 1 or 2 3 days have to be scaled through and been ascended into law, as the case may be. So that has been the situation. There have been series of movements, been all kinds of agitation, just as we are having on the AIT television beginning today. We've tried our best. Even some partners have joined us, like the Daughters of Charity of St. Vincent de Paul, even ROLAC, the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Agency, and even the different cluster groups who form the bulk of persons with disability. We've all come together to ensure that we push. But unfortunately and unfortunately, the different governments have actually not see the need of doing something important or necessary or urgency about this bill. But the big question, like I did mention, that one would continue to ask if while we were in this state, within 2 3 days or more, a bill was passed and assented to that SYZ governors or retired governors and deputies can, home for themselves building in any part of the country using the taxpayers' resources. I think probably I will allow the question or the answer for BC Apmaida to take it from here. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Timothy. Well, I must mention that Timothy OSEMWIGIE is a broadcaster and an artist, of course, a very intelligent mind, though he's visually impaired. And yes, but you can hardly, you can hardly figure that out because most times he's even smarter, of course, most times with his sixth sense than some of us who, actually have our eyes in place. But let me ask you, Timothy, now that you're pushing for this particular bill it to be in place, don't you think that it's going to cost the government a lot of money and is to begin to create special areas, because that's what you're asking for now, special areas that will accommodate persons with disability?
Well, for me, I don't. I wouldn't want to be pessimistic owing to the fact that this is going to be a multi-billion tasking project. Now, reason being that the cost of running governance alone, one will begin to imagine how many of these individuals we will have in the states that we cannot provide for educationally, that we cannot provide for health wise, that we cannot provide for legally for their rights and privileges to be protected. So for me, it's not difficult because other states where this bill do exist, and I don't think they need to have traveled to the moon to search for funds to have this bill to be passed, not just being passed, to making provisions for these persons. I'm sure it has to do with government knowing what to do because over the time in this country of ours, issue that have to do with persons with disability often being treated with lip gloss. So not until we begin to do the needful, we may not get. But the big issue is that don't forget that in every given society, 25 or more percent of these constituents form the bulk of the society, that form the bulk of society are made of person with disability. And you and I, we are here today in the studio. When we leave here, nobody can tell what happens. So that's why we say, look, if you do this, you are not only just protecting Timothy, you are not protecting Melody, you are not protecting Barrister Wisdom Elikie, you are not protecting George Sawa. You are even protecting even your generation of born. That's what I will often say. For the fact that you are up today, it's not a major determinant that you will not be down tomorrow. So we must put all hands on deck. We must do everything positive to ensure that persons with disability are given the rightful place in the society. Not forget, say when you throw stone into a market, you know whether your mama will go meet, or even your own wife, or your own son, or your own relations, or your friends. So, away from that, we must do everything. It's not going to be very clear in terms of funds and all of that. It's just that government should rise up to its responsibility in recognizing a sector or a particular set in the society. So that's just the basic needs we need to provide for this person.
Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, BC Akpaida, 4:30 p.m. every Wednesday on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it. All right. Of course, we have the elections forthcoming. September 19th, of course, will be going to the poll. And I know that persons with disability would also be participating in the forthcoming electionary process. What is your association doing? Do we have you captured? People with disabilities, can they actually vote? Do you guys have some voting right? And can we say you can vote and be sure that you're actually voting for the persons you really want to vote for?
Well, I can still recall very vividly that 2014, 2015, the first ever engagement that was initiated by INEC, Edo State INEC, yours sincerely was the brain boss behind all of that. As we have it today, Nigerian election do not capture persons with disability. Reason being that there are several inhibitions, there's several obstacles, there's several gutters, that plays out between these individuals and the INEC system or electoral.
Can you break it down a bit so that we have an
Okay, I'm
understanding?
ready. Breaking it up. For instance, a lady who's on a wheelchair cannot help his or herself, as the case may be, to that on top that place they call a cubicle. You needed to climb a platform. The officials are usually on, has
High
to
table.
be on a high table on the top of a school veranda, as the case may be. You discover that someone is on the wheelchair is down there. They'll be raising the individual's hand to place on the card reader, or as the case may be, or to printing. He or she may not even have to get to see where his or her hand being placed. This for me is a big gully. So person with disability, ballot papers have not been printed. Just as we're having the other ballot paper printed for the so-called able person, those who could see. Ballot papers have not been designed in this direction for persons who are with visual impairment or visual disability to able to have their vote cast. What about those individuals who are considered to be deaf and dumb? Globally at the United Nations level, people who are referred to as hearing impaired persons. Are there ballot papers designed to accommodate sign language inscriptions? So these are materials that we do not earlier. Of course, you are aware of the millions of citizens of this great country, and I tell you, persons with disability will form about 30, percent of the population of this great country, and our interests and our welfares are not being captured. So when you're talking about development, when you were opening your show that this program is all about development or about issues, then what are we not talking about? A meaningful development when some, great large number of persons, because they are being bedeviled one form of challenges, the situation that is no fault of theirs, they have not committed any sin of any kind. Scripturally, John chapter 9, verses 4, the disciples did ask Christ, why was this man born blind? He said, no, not the man committed any sin, or neither the parents, but for the will of God to be, made manifest. So these are issues until we begin to realize. I'm sure we cannot have a true governance. I'm sure we cannot have a genuine governance. We cannot have a genuine development. How did I get my job? I needed to go shout down a town hall meeting that was, put in place by then Governor Aliyu Shomole. I heard it on radio or television. Look, he's going to be putting up a town hall meeting tomorrow. I want to be here today. How many of these individuals who will be devil one form of challenge or the other will have such opportunity? What about those persons who are living in rural and communities where light or one individual will see who will carry and come in Maguero Hall 12th of December 2012, like I moved that day? They go don't die. So when we have this bill in place, commissions will certainly be put in place. The needs and aspiration of these persons, if they are being educated, the data will be collected. We cannot, not that we do all of this. I tell you, there cannot be meaningful governance or meaningful development.
All right, so you are advocating for a bill to be passed for persons with disability, right?
Certainly.
Okay, before we end this program, because we're running to, trying to wrap up. Now, can you take us a little, back to how you were able to develop yourself to this point? Because I'm sure someone is listening out there, watching at the same time, and saying, yes, I'm a person with disability. I truly would want to, have opportunity like this young man Timothy has right now. How would you want to encourage such a person?
Thank you for your questions. When For me, I was told that when I was about 2, 3 of age, suddenly I had the measles, which indeed communicated to my inability to see physically today. And if I have to tell you today on this platform, I was indeed of age before I started primary school
Mm.
to go, start developing myself. And that wasn't end of the road for me. I have to struggle. I remember I would have to wait for my cousins, as it were, then to come back from school. They will have to say, I was to say, how did they spell go? They say, Geo. Now they think they spell go. How did they spell forget? Forget. So that's how I started learning. No school because the awareness was not even there, probably because of the low knowledge of my parents. Because I was raised up here, and at some point I was taken to the village. So there was no awareness. I was old already before I found my way into school, and as I was fighting on, I remember I used to have first position in the primary, and I moved into the secondary. I even attended a public school. For those who are watching me, I'm sure somebody from Ihogbe College along IC Road is viewing us now. You can tweet and say, "Oh look." I was also told that when we had our final year, what you call SS3 now, I also had the best. I wasn't sleeping. I don't used to sleep. Then I moved into a University of Benin first degree. When satisfied, we moved on to other degrees and all that. It's a question of hard work, discipline. People were raising money for me left, center, right, back, front for school fees. I wasn't, taking them to nightclubs because I had this premonition. Look, if I decide to take my money to clubs and all of that, I'm going to be the one to suffer it. That is why I put in all attention, focus. We'll be struggling. We will not be resting. You should learn how to take the back seat as someone who's been bedeviled with one form of disability or the other. You should be able to tell the world, your society, your families, look, if anybody go succeed, now me go succeed. So that's what we'll be doing. It's not be easy. There'll be some pressures. People want to pull you down. Hey, the able people never even get. Now you are disabled. Now you want collect. Who are you? Like I did say to Shomole then that look, the blind by the mind, I say, look, O son of David, you have to keep shouting. I shouted before I got to this level. Yes, just keep shouting, keep doing positive things. Don't do drug as a person with disability. Do not commit crime. Don't take to crime. Person with disability, they do all manner of things. You should show violence. Don't do all of that. Rather, contribute your own quota to meaningful developmental development. You should be part of those. Strive to becoming part of those who are building the proverbial national cake.
Thank you very much, Timothy OSEMWIGIE. It's a very fantastic young man, full of energy and very high intuition. And I must appreciate you for coming on Issues and Tissue today.
Thank you very much. I hope you continue to avail us your platform as you have often done. And we'll continue to pray that God continue to keep AIT and Repower Benin.
Thank you very much. Of course, yes, like you had Timothy just say on the program, immunization is very important. I'm sure just maybe if the parents had gone for the regular immunization check, I'm sure maybe this case would have been taken care of. But again, you just can't tell sometimes how God wants to work, because this is a young man, with disability, and yet is able to channel the way and give some kind of direction to others with disabilities so that at least they can find a better tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us on the program Issues and Tissue today. We hope that next week you can find time to join us again on the program. And the advocacy bill for Edo disability, we hope that the government and the Edo State House of Assembly will take it seriously, because of course these are persons who naturally ought to be a part of the society also, and they deserve as much as we all get. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Next week will be another lovely time. I am BC Akwaida. Stay blessed. Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, BC Akwaida, 4:30 p.m. every Wednesday on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it.